$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
And then they have cans of soup, and they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
You're getting nervous, man. You're getting nervous, man. Sanders. Nervous, man. Nervous, man. You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
It was an amazing phone call I made. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. And I just spoke to my people.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
Hello? Testing. Hello? Is this thing on? Testing. Hello? Am I audible? Testing. Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Testing. Hello? Testing. Hello? Boop, bop, bam. What a user name. Hello! This is the Above It All. This is the Above It All show. 1701 show. It's the and I'm here to do the to do a show. Today I'm doing a show. Today, and I'm here for the show. Today. Today is Monday. Today is Monday. October. Monday, October 3rd. This year is the year 2022. Is the year, and Monday is the day of the week, and it's October. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the program, everybody. I've got a program lined up, and it's Monday, so got a show going on today. It's 10 a.m. 10:10 a.m. There's two 10 and 3 because October is 10, and then so it's 10 10 10 3. So 1701 episodes of the Above It All show. Of the Above It All show is today, so I'm drinking coffee today, and and I'm doing a show. My arms. Well, first of all, I have arms. They, check this out. I have arms, first of all. Second of all, they hurt, but not that bad. So I can pretty much do this. I would say at this point, my flu shot arm, which is this one, hurts more than my COVID arm. So that's my current position. The flu shot arm still recovering. COVID arm is like 95%. So I'm successfully boosted. And I'm ready. So the Above It All show 1,701 shows. Today is Monday, folks, and Monday is the day where it's Monday, everybody, so we're and it's Monday, for the show. So, I got some news here lined up. I got some fun, and I got some news, and there's this poll that somehow I missed this. This is a couple of weeks ago now, but I missed this poll. In fact, let's jump into it. Let's start the stream. So this poll, somehow I missed this. This is like 2 weeks old. And I don't somehow sometimes you see something that's like, I'd really want to talk about it, and then I miss it. It was gone. So this is a couple weeks ago. Most Republicans support declaring the United States a Christian nation. New polling shows the appeal and limits of a Christian nationalist message. So again, I don't know how I missed this one. I blame the users for not informing me of this poll. But let's check out the numbers, right? And then we got this image here. I don't even know what the fuck's going on here. Anyway. I'm gonna skip all this shit. Most Republicans say Christian nationalism is unconstitutional, but they still support it. Our national poll included 2,091 participants, carried out May 6 to 16, 2022, with a margin of error of plus or minus 2.14 out of 100 percentage. We started by asking participants if they believed the Constitution would even allow the U.S. government to declare the U.S. a Christian nation. We found that 70% of Americans, including 57% of Republicans and 81% of Democrats, said the Constitution would not allow such a declaration. Indeed, the First Amendment... I love when polls ask people factual questions. That's one of my favorite methods of polling, is when you just poll Americans and ask them, not an opinion poll, just a factual question. Now, I want to meet the 19% of Democrats. 19% of Democrats who are like, yeah, Christian nation, yeah, constitutional, why not? Most respondents say Christian nationalism is unconstitutional. Percentage of respondents who believe that the Constitution would or would not allow the government to declare the U.S. a Christian nation by party. So Republicans, 43% would allow, 57% would not allow. Democrats, 19% would allow, what the fuck, 81% not allow. All respondents, 70 or 30. But then, so again, now factor this in. They know it's unconstitutional. Yet they want it anyway. Christian nationalism is gaining steam on the right. Percentage of respondents in favor of or opposed to declaring the U.S. a Christian nation by party? Favor, 61%. Opposed, 39%. Now again, 17% of Democrats are like, yeah, let's get a Christian nation. Yeah, I'm a Democrat. Woo! Who? What? What? 17% of Democrats? That's a lot. That's a lot. That is a lot of Democrats. Now, I need you to understand there are more, by the numbers, more Democrats than Republicans. Right? So 17% of Democrats represents a larger population base than 17% of Republicans. But that's crazy. And this is also really scary. The total, 38% of Americans want this country to be a Christian nation. 30 of Americans, not Republicans, not Democrats, 38% of Americans want to turn this country into a fascist theocracy. 38%. That is shockingly high. 38%. Now, again, you can argue, oh, well, maybe all 38% of them don't want to turn the country into a fascist dictatorship or a theocracy. They're too dumb to know what words mean. Now, again, that's actually not a bad argument, because 30% of them think that it's constitutional. So 30% of Americans think this is constitutional. They're already fucking stupid motherfuckers. So who knows? 38%, do they really want to throw it into a fascist dictatorship theocracy? Or are they just so dumb that they're going to say, yeah, go for it if the opportunity comes, and then cry later? I don't know, man. All I know is 38% voted in a poll in favor of a fascist theocracy. That's all I know. Younger generations, including younger Republicans, are less supportive of Christian nationalism. Previous research has shown that the youngest generations, millennials, those born between 1981 and 96, and Generation Z, those born between 97 and 2012, are less likely to be religiously affiliated and to trust religious institutions. That also is consistent with the results from our critical issues poll. We found that the members of the youngest generations are less likely than those of older generations to support declaring the U.S. a Christian nation. Only about a quarter of millennial respondents, 25%, and a third of Generation Z respondents, 34%, favor this declaration. Now, Gen Z based, says Tyler in the chat. Can you read, motherfucker? Okay. Check this out. Now, this is some crazy shit right here. This is some crazy shit. This is crazy. Okay? Only about a quarter of millennial respondents, 25%, want a Christian nation. Generation Z is 34%. 34%. So you're telling me Generation Z is more religious and more fascist than millennials? By contrast, the majority of oh, what the fuck? Holy shit, I just fucking went somewhere. By contrast, the majority of respondents from the two oldest generations, silent generation, 28 and 45, and baby boomers, 46 and 64, support the U.S. being declared a Christian nation, 54 and 50%. Within the generations, partisanship also plays a role in shaping attitudes about Christian nationalism, but most Republicans in every age group favor designating the U.S. a Christian nation, but even more so in the older generations. Fully 71% of silent generation Republicans and 72% of Republican baby boomers would like to see the U.S. officially declared a Christian nation, compared to 33% of silent generation Democrats and 20% of Democratic baby boomers. Among the youngest generations, we see that 51% of millennial Republicans and 51% of Generation Z Republicans want the U.S. to be declared a Christian nation, compared to 10% of millennial Democrats and 7% of Generation Z Democrats. Some crazy stuff. That is crazy stuff. To me, the real crazy thing is that Generation Z is more religious and more fascist than millennials, according to this poll. Now, again, this poll also found that 30% of Americans couldn't get a yes or no answer correct on the U.S. Constitution. So factor this in, right? I don't know if this poll is going to, you shouldn't shape your whole worldview around this poll. 30% of Americans apparently so fucking stupid they've never read the first fucking amendment, right? So I'm just throwing that out there. So factor that part in, and maybe this data puts a little bit more in context here. But either way, I missed this somehow. This is a couple weeks old. This came out. It's a poll from May. But what is the moral of the story? Republicans, fucking stupid. Democrats, pretty fucking stupid, but not as stupid as Republicans. The average American, dumber than a dumpster fire. That's what we learn in this poll. But I don't know. We haven't really learned that in the poll. That's pretty much the established fact here. But yeah, crazy shit. Crazy fucking shit. Engrained, Courtney? Engrained? Toxic death. Okay, I pull up. Are you responding to like the beeping going on outside? I don't even know what the fuck that is. It's not even garbage day. I'm just getting, there's just some beepers. What the fuck are they doing? You and all your friends, yeah, they love to get naughty. Are these like song lyrics? I find more Gen Z being fascist unlikely. I've seen these numbers represented in other statistics where Generation Z is like weirder on a lot of issues. I personally would say I would chalk that up to kids just being stupid. Like millennials are more likely to have done more education. Generation Z is more likely to be currently in their education process, right? So they're not at their like final destination per se, typically speaking. So that's my understanding of these numbers, but I've definitely seen some other polls that say that Generation Z is a lot more wonky than millennials, but I think it's just because they're younger. So there you go. Yeah, you're in the workforce. The goddamn workforce. Yeah, I'm entering the workforce. Oh, I'm working for the man. That's you? The dog's getting boosted? It's a good dog. I would like to say that tonight on my twitch.tv stream, I will be doing potentially the longest Twitch stream I've done all year. Now, I did a 6.5 hour Doom stream a couple weeks ago, so I don't know if it'll be that long, but it could be. I will be doing a long Twitch stream tonight for the Spook 6 ULR. We will be spending approximately 6 hours debating whether or not the video game that I will be playing, which was released 22 years ago on this day, 22 years ago on this day. So if you want to figure out what game I will be playing, we can debate if it's a horror game. I will win that debate. And it's got horror-based levels in it, so therefore it's a horror game. So 22 years ago today, a video game came out, and I will be playing that video game tonight on twitch.tv. Did I end the stream early last night? I just did a short stream. I didn't end it early. I just did a short stream. I played a shorter game. So my arm hurt, so I wanted to do something, but I didn't want to be there too long. But anyway, so that's it. I'm going to be doing a big show tonight on the Twitch stream, so factor that into your daily plans. When will I start it? I'd say I'll probably end up starting it at around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time. So 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'll make my decision later, post it on Twitter. But it's going to be great. So, the Supreme Court, they're back for another season of torment and torture. Supreme Court to hear a case that could have massive impact on U.S. water quality. The Supreme Court on Monday will hear arguments of a case between Idaho landowners and the Environmental Protection Agency, a dispute that could redefine the scope of the country's clean water regulations. The first case of the justice's new term, landing just ahead of the Clean Water Act's 50th anniversary, will feature arguments about wetlands and when they can or can't be regulated by the federal government. Although technical in nature, the legal dispute could have broad implications for the country's water quality if the 6-3 conservative majority court uses the case to narrow the EPA's regulatory reach. Quote, if that's what the Supreme Court should decide, we're basically rolling back the clock 50 years, said Rep. Peter DeFazio. That's a good name, DeFazio, and it's got the capital F. I want to know more about DeFazio. That's a great name. I gotta write a novel just so I can create a character who's named DeFazio. That's a great... Anyway, who chairs a House panel on water resources and the environment that would remove 50% of our critical wetlands and 70% of our rivers and streams from federal protection. The case began in 2007. It's an old case. When Michael and Chantel Sackett were told they needed a federal permit to build a home on land they owned because it contained wetlands, prompting the Sacketts to sue. The goddamn Sacketts. I mean, we got some crazy names. DeFazio, Sackett. I mean, Jesus. This is an all-star fucking situation here. A federal court siding with the U.S. government ruled that the wetlands on the Sackett's property contained a significant nexus with other regulated waters, meaning the couple would need authorization to build there. The Sacketts are now urging the Supreme Court to discard the significant nexus threshold. Instead, their petition favors a separate test from former Justice Antonin Scalia that called for the waters to have a continuous surface water connection, a higher threshold that would apply to fewer wetlands. The stakes of this case, however, go far beyond one property dispute. It attracted briefs from environmental groups, which argue that it would hamper the government's ability to keep people safe from pollution, as well as industries like farming, mining, construction, and oil and gas, which support the deregulatory effort. There was some bullshit with the EPA a couple of months ago that basically said that the EPA couldn't regulate some other bullshit regarding wetlands. And the Inflation Reduction Act also kind of tried to put some language in there to clarify that. It wasn't a perfect solution. So anyway, this would basically just undo that and go even further than it was before. So there you go. This is a very, very big deal for the Clean Water Act. It will determine likely whether the Clean Water Act can protect half of the water bodies in this country, and if it can't, meeting the water quality goals of the new law that we all count on will be virtually impossible, said John Defying, who leads the Natural Resources Defense Council's federal water policy team. The case appears to mirror regulatory differences between the Trump administration's efforts to limit regulations to just wetlands with continuous surface water connections to other regulated waters and the Obama administration's regulations, which applied to significant nexus test. Basically, water is we don't live in a world that we look down on from space and there's a blue line, that's the water, and there's no water anywhere else, right? So Republicans live in that fantasy world where they think the blue line is the only water in the world. But in the real world, water can travel underground. It can travel underground, right? So if you poison certain water supplies and they're connected underground, it's going to have larger implications on the quality of water. So this above ground water test or whatever, it's just fucking stupid. These people live in another fucking world. I gotta be honest with you, man. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. A total of 51% of the country's wetlands would not be protected under the Trump-era rule, according to a slideshow obtained by E&E News. The Biden administration has proposed to regulate some wetlands that meet the significant nexus standard, and while the Sackett's petition in the court appears to be in support of the continuous surface water test, in their opening court brief, they propose a separate test. They say that the wetland should be inseparably bound up with another regulated water and also subject to Congress's authority over interstate waters. Damian Schiff, a lawyer representing the Sacketts, said that abiding by the Clean Water Act can be significantly burdensome, both in the application process itself and in the requirements to mitigate environmental damage. Here's an idea. How about the government comes in and says, yeah, we'll build this thing, whatever it is, for you. You want to build something here? We gotcha. We'll build the foundation. We'll make sure it doesn't fuck with the water supply. And, or maybe give you a tax credit. Some other shit. I don't know, man. Like, why is it that, like, these weird decisions about, like, some dude's private property would, like, in the United States, right? We live in this bizarre-ass, shitty fucking world, right? Where, like, some guy's backyard, they want to build, like, a shack in their backyard, and that has implications that are going to destroy half of America's water supply. Like, okay, step one, some dumbass wants to build a shack. Step two, half of America has poisoned water. Why is... What? Like, why do we live in this fucking world? Like, what a stupid-ass fucking bitch-ass world. So anyway, you can read more of this. But the Supreme Court is back in session, folks. And that means some breaking news will be coming out pretty much every week from these motherfuckers. But there you go. The Sacketts and DeFazio. It's an all-star fucking cast here. So there you go. The popes shall die. Can I test your wetlands? Only if you pay? Can they test my wetlands? Maybe. The class war has already started. We just aren't fighting back. I agree. Advocating for clean water is considered radical. Yep. Could you think about it this way, though? Like, as a world, right, we are so, like, as a species, think about this, okay? Think about this on the grand level. You know, like, 100,000 years ago, we're walking in the fucking savannas and shit, okay? So, humans are so fucking stupid that the most basic things that we need to live, water, air, and food. We have been a species for a very long time. Civilizations have been coming around and going for, you know, dozens of thousands of years. And we still have yet to figure out how to get water, food, and air to the people that live in these societies. What? Now, again, that's crazy to me. That shit is crazy. Right, it is. Maxie, what the fuck? Are you okay? Oh, he's got a tennis ball in his mouth. Literally, 100,000 plus years of human evolution, dozens and dozens of thousands of years of societal civilizational evolution, and we still don't have clean water, clean food, and clean air? That's some crazy shit. That's some crazy ass shit. I mean, humans are dumb as fuck. Oh my god. Max, what the fuck are you doing? He's dogging it up. Hello, above her. 125 people died in a riot at a soccer game in Indonesia. Good. Fuck them. Wish there were more. Anyone who's going to a soccer game in a pandemic. 2, rioting at a soccer game in a pandemic. 3, inflicting violence on someone else at a riot at a soccer game in a pandemic. Get rid of them, as far as I'm concerned. Have you ever watched Among Us hentai? I don't even know what that means, so I guess no. So we got a show going on. It is the 1701 show, and it's going on, and it's a show, and it's happening. So, so there you go. It's football, not soccer. SMH. Alex Massey, are you pretending to be dumb? Don't forget to hit the like, everyone. Thank you, Sinkwell, for the reminder. Like the stream, or else I will be pretty fucking mad. So. So anyway, Joe Biden said the pandemic is over. That is true. That is a factual statement. Joe Biden did say that. That is true. You bother to look at the COVID numbers before making that statement? No? It's a joke. Realign, Jesus fucking Christ. It's a very cruel response to the football. I don't know anything about the fucking story. I haven't looked into it. It's a fucking joke. My God, settle the fuck down. Jesus. Fucking whiny snowflakes in this fucking stream today. My goodness. I was making a fucking joke about Hurricane Ian killing dumb Floridians. I don't care. Fuck it. Yeah, damn right I'm cruel. And I'm unusual. 130 people dying is not a joke. Fuck 9/11. 3,000 people died in 9/11. I make jokes about that shit all the time. Fuck them. 130 people dying is not a joke. That is a joke. That is a fucking joke. 130 people dying at a soccer game. That's a fucking joke. I don't know. Now, again, it's possible that there's other extenuating circumstances. I don't know. I wasn't told that. I don't have access to that information. The only thing I know is from what's posted in the chat is that 125 people died at a riot at a soccer game in a pandemic. That's all I know. That's the only information I have. Right? So if there's like a fucking mass shooting and everyone was freaking out and they were trying to run away and they trampled over each other trying to run away from a mass shooter, that's a different fucking scenario. Right? You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know anything about the story. I'm sorry if I've offended you. That's not my goal. But also, I mean, it's cruel. I mean, I don't know, man. So, I don't know. What's cruel is the fact that we're not going to have clean fucking water in this world. That's fucking cruel. So, Max, what the fuck are you doing? Are you puking up tennis balls? Holy shit. What the hell was that noise? I make jokes about 9/11 and I had my family there in New York. Yeah, I mean, I lived in New Jersey, man. People were freaking the fuck out. People are like, we're all gonna die! The plane's gonna crash into fucking random farmland New Jersey. Like, motherfuckers, like, calm the fuck down, okay? Calm the fuck down. Did Lula win? Well, let's jump in. So I'm reading this on NPR. Factor that into this whole thing. Defying pre-election polls. A divided Brazil heads to a presidential runoff. So yesterday I was talking about how in Brazil they have runoff elections. If someone secures a majority, 50% plus one, they will avoid the runoff and be elected president. If you get 48% to 43%, a plurality, you won, but you did not reach a majority, right? You know, someone else comes in and sucks up the rest. Then there's going to be a runoff, and the runoff is in 4 weeks from now. I just gotta say, this fucking photo of Lula is so good. All right. Lula, a left-wing former president, finished in first place Sunday in Brazil's presidential election, but failed to secure enough votes for an outright victory and will face right-wing incumbent Jair Bolsonaro in an October 30th runoff. Despite pre-election polls giving Da Silva, who is widely known as Lula, a double-digit lead, the race was a nail-biter. In fact, Da Silva trailed for much of the night before finally inching ahead and winning with about 47.9% of the vote, with about 97% of votes counted. President Bolsonaro was runner-up with 43.6% in the 11-candidate race. So I just got to say this. When it comes to, like, you know, fascism, 11-candidate race, you know, I don't know, man. They got a different system down there. I don't know the intricacies of the Brazilian electoral system. But when Bolsonaro is the incumbent and he is running for election, and you got 11 candidates, right? 9 of which sucking up air from Lula, the only actual opposition. I'm sorry, man. That's some dumbass bullshit. And I say this as an American that does not live in Brazil. So, you know, my word, my opinion, not really worth much. Sunday's voting was largely peaceful after a contentious, sometimes violent campaign in which Brazil's democracy seemed to hang in the balance. Bolsonaro, who has praised the past military dictatorship of Brazil, repeatedly challenged the legitimacy of the election as it approached, and his opinion poll numbers flagged. Now, again, this guy's just going to pull whatever the Trump strategy is, like times 2. Lula represents democracy, said Julia Soteli, a museum worker who voted for Da Silva because of what she described as Bolsonaro's authoritarian tendencies. Lula wants to improve people's lives and end hunger. He is really concerned about human rights. Campaigning will now continue for the next 4 weeks. Pre-election polls put Da Silva within striking distance of winning the presidency in the first round by securing more than half the votes. But he came short, with Brazil now facing 4 more weeks of intense campaigning. Still, the result was kind of a vindication for Da Silva, who became a hero to many Brazilians during his 2 terms as president between 2003 and 10, when a commodities-fueled economic boom helped lift millions out of poverty. However, after leaving office, he became ensnarled in a blah, 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 stupid-ass bullshit. Why is that even talked about? Bolsonaro was swept to power 4 years ago by a coalition that included evangelical Christians. Now, I just gotta say again, Christians. Everywhere, anytime they ever speak, Christians are fucking stupid. Evangelical Christians are dumb motherfuckers. They're dumb motherfuckers. Now again, Bolsonaro, his family is quite literally tied to political assassinations. Not only that, but the government has been verifiably proven to be corrupt in its charges against Lula da Silva that put him in jail for like 2 or 3 years, right? So, that verifiable corruption, right? Family ties to assassinations, praising a military junta, and Christians are like, oh, God bless. Oh, God bless. Oh, God bless. Oh, they're like fucking goddamn Pinhead and Hellraiser. They're putting the pins all over them. Like, what the fuck is that shit that Christians do? Like, oh, the Father and the Ghost. Like, what the fuck? You believe in ghosts, motherfucker? Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway. Oh, Bolsonaro, 67, has had a rough 4 years in office. He downplayed the COVID pandemic in Brazil, ended up with the second highest COVID death toll in the world after the U.S. He is dealing with a stagnant economy with high inflation and unemployment and rising poverty. Not to mention he got COVID like fucking 3 times. So, fucking stupid ass bitch that I know of. Maybe he got a 4th or 5th. I don't even know. I stopped paying attention after the 3rd fucking COVID diagnosis. Bolsonaro spent months questioning the integrity of Brazil's electoral system. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Called on the military to oversee the counting of ballots. Oh, wow. And hinted that he might not leave power, even if he lost. In the hours before the vote, he posted on Twitter feed of a video of former President Donald Trump urging people to vote for him. You know things are going really well when you get a guy who lost an election in another country to endorse you on the day of the voting. You know, not like a major Brazilian celebrity or politician or like a major Brazilian like newspaper outlet. You don't care about them on election day. Let's go grab Donald Trump. Let's go get the orange guy from fucking like 4,000, 5,000 miles away. Let's go bring that orange guy. How long? Like I think how far is Brazil away from fucking the United States? I think it's a lot longer than 5,000. I don't know. Let's go grab that fucking guy and get him to do an endorsement. I mean, goddamn, man. That's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. So anyway, bad news, but I mean, you know, again, as long as Lula wins the second round, but again, that's the thing here, is that similarly in the United States, as we saw with January 6th, is winning the election is just part of the battle for power. Right? Bolsonaro has been claiming if he loses the election, he praises the military junta, right? He is connected to families that have assassination ties, right? And he has verifiably and proven, had a corrupt cabinet and administration that just literally made shit up about his opponent already. So again, even if he loses the election, Bolsonaro, there's still a good chance Brazil is fucked. So, you know, it's a pretty scary situation down there. But there you go. That's the news. That's the update. Lula did win, so he is more popular than Bolsonaro. But, again, runoff elections, And again, 11 candidate race. I mean, give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. So, got a show. I'm doing a show today. Doing a show today. Once again, y'all, an approximately 6-hour Twitch stream, could be less, could be more, is coming today. The GOP is talking about the Brazilian election. I gotta look into that for tomorrow. But I'm going to do a long Twitch stream today. And I will say this much. Is it a horror game? What qualifies as a horror game? Does it have to have ghosts? Alright, check. What if it's like a game that has multiple levels and some of the levels are horror themed? Is that a horror game? I don't know. Either way, I'm going to do a very long stream of a game that came out 22 years ago today. 22 years ago today. This is the 22nd birthday of this video game. If you know what it is, you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, you'll have to wait 5-6 hours and then you'll find out what it is. So there you go. How are the arms feeling? My COVID arm is pretty much 95%. My flu arm is like 60%. My flu arm still fucking hurts. So, anyway, so that's the Twitch stream news. Once again, gotta check it out. Where the hell is that Max dog? Oh, Max, hi. He's behind me. I got fucking oil all over my... You ever, like, realize that, like, we secrete oils? Has anyone ever tried cooking in their own, like, oil? You know, like, can we, like, find a way to, like, scrape the oils out of us and then cook with it? I want to cook with human oil. You know, like the fucking in your hair and shit, you know that? You know, you got, like, the oil. No? Anyway. You're cooking with it. It's going to kill all the bad stuff, right? That's what they say. I think I'm just, like... I don't have a microfiber cloth. I'm just using this, so I think I've made it worse. I had this thought when I was really high yesterday. Of like, why am I buying oil when my body produces oil? You know? Like, I go to the store and I buy olive oil. Like, my brother in Christ, I produce olive oil. So, I don't know. Anyway. This is what I think of when I'm really fucking high. 2001: A Space Odyssey may be the best movie ever made. All right, we got some breaking news, folks. California, well, needless to say, California is stepping into the future. And how are they stepping into the future? By walking in the middle of the street. That's right. You will soon be able to jaywalk ticket-free in California. Californians will soon be able to cross the street outside of a formal intersection without being ticketed, as long as it's safe to do so. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Freedom to Walk Act into law on Friday, according to a news release from Assemblymember Phil Ting, who wrote the bill. The law stipulates that pedestrians can only be ticketed for jaywalking or crossing outside of an intersection if there is, quote, immediate danger of a collision, says the release. The new law will take effect on January 1st. In the release, Ting seemed to reference racist policing and unfair targeting of black pedestrians for jaywalking arrests. Quote, it should not be a criminal offense to safely cross the street. When expensive tickets and unnecessary confrontations with police impact only certain communities, it's time to reconsider. Can we talk about jaywalking? Jaywalking. Like, our society is so fucking stupid that we design all these roads, right? And we don't design nearly enough crosswalks. And then we criminalize being a pedestrian. Like, again, like, you ever see these roads? I'm a pedestrian. I don't have a car. I'd never driven a car in my life. So for me, most of my understanding of roads is from the perspective of a pedestrian. You know, I walked to the pharmacy to get my vaccine the other day. It's about a 3.5-ish mile walk each way. And, you know, walking down a road for that amount of time and traveling such an exorbitant amount of time and distance, you notice really just how bad roads are. Sometimes you gotta walk like a quarter, half a mile before you get to a crosswalk, right? I jaywalk all the time. I'm just saying this much. I have never had a cop even look at me for jaywalking. But, at least to my knowledge, I don't know. I jaywalk all the time. I don't value crosswalks. I don't believe in crosswalks. I look left, I look right, I look left again, and I fucking go for it. That's what I do. I've never, you know, I don't live in California. I don't know what they do in California, but I'm also not black, so factor that in. But the idea that, like, we've destroyed our environment with these stupid fucking asphalt roads, and then, like, we don't even make them pedestrian friendly. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? That is some crazy ass fucking shit. That is some crazy ass shit. So I just want to say that much. Plus, we should be encouraging people to get out of their cars and walk for health and environmental reasons. I agree with that. According to the release, jaywalking is arbitrarily enforced in California, and disproportionately affects people of color and lower income individuals who cannot afford tickets that they often total hundreds of dollars. Hundreds of dollars. Can't afford a car. Can't afford a bus ticket. But here's a $100 fine for trying to get to work on time. Crazy ass shit. In 2020, protests erupted when an Orange County Sheriff deputy shot and killed Kurt Reinhold, a homeless black man, after stopping him for allegedly jaywalking. Prosecutors eventually declined to bring charges against the deputy who shot Reinhold. So you're black. Step 1, black. Step 2, cross the street. Step 3, shot and killed. Step 4, officer gets a paid vacation. What a great fucking country. I mean, like, damn. We're talking about like an all-time best country ever. A black person murdered for trying to just cross the fucking street. I mean, Lord have mercy. It's a dumbass fucking country. It's a dumbass fucking country. But anyway, it's getting better in California, I guess. Now, again, I've never been to California. I've been all across this country. Not that much, but I've never been to California. And I can say this much. I jaywalk all the time. To me, jaywalking is a part of my personality. When I lived in Washington, D.C., I would jaywalk all over the fucking place. Fuck it. I mean, like, again, like, as long as you look left and you look right and there's no cars, the idea that you can get ticketed for walking across the street, I mean, what the fuck? And if there's a red light and you want to cross the street, but you don't feel like walking all the way up to the crosswalk, walk in between the cars. What are they going to do? Run you down? They're parked. They're waiting. They're idling. I walk between cars all the fucking time. So, and again, police have never given me a ticket. So, I've never been murdered by the cops for trying to get somewhere on time. So I'm just saying that much. I don't know. That is crazy shit that's even a thing. But I guess they're fixing it. So I guess it's less crazy. Jesus Christ. So the riot started at the soccer game with whiny, sore loser, cringe sports fans rioting. Then police used tear gas. People panicked. I get it. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, cops are garbage, as we know. But so are sports fans, right? It's kind of like, it's like let them fight. I'm just I would say it's very likely Bolsonaro tries a coup. I would say it's 100% chance that Bolsonaro tries the coup in Brazil. I don't know the chances of whether or not it will be successful. That's like the key thing, is whether or not he will succeed. Like, there's a 100% chance that if Donald Trump could have succeeded, he would have. Like, there's no question. It's just that there were enough mechanisms in place that it didn't happen. So I want to talk a little bit about mental health in this country and abroad. I mean, I'm sure there's many international people that might flock to this video, but I want to talk about mental health. And the other day, I made a video about someone that you may know if you're watching this video. If you're not watching the live stream, if you're watching the video, you found it. You may know who this person is. I made a video the other day about someone named Jordan Peterson. He exists. And he was crying live on camera. So I made a video about it. I talked about it. And as with any Jordan Peterson video, I have a bunch of extremely intelligent people that left me some interesting comments. So I want to take a moment here again to talk about mental health in this country. Because, again, Jordan Peterson, factually speaking, I don't care if this triggers you, factually speaking, is a bigot. He hates minorities such as transgender people and gay people. He hates them. He talks about it regularly. If that offends you to hear that, well, I ask you this question. Why does that offend you? Do you not want him to be a bigot because you think bigotry is bad? Or do you think that particular brand of bigotry is acceptable? That's my first question. So I got some very interesting comments. And I posted a compilation on Twitter. So I want to go through a couple of these. Now this one, I don't know what's going on here. Subscriber for 7 years. I thought that's interesting. So Rune Wizard says, man, I know like cry equals bad, comma, man I hate must be bad if man cry. Only female can cry and no man can cry, but also there are 50 genders. And in real life, 99% of what I say is not okay to be said in public. Now again, I'm not sure what's going on here. Nowhere in the video did I make fun of him for crying because he cried. Nowhere in the video did I do that. I made fun of him for crying when asked if he is the defender of incels. That's what I made fun of him for. I didn't make fun of a man for crying, okay? So anyway, this is a theme here. Your mind is unmeasurably narrow. So I asked them to, extrapolate. How so? Not up to me to tell you why. Just an opinion at the end of the day. A bit of introspection might do you some good. I just saw you comment you have no compassion for bigots might suggest you have zero compassion for yourself. Objectifying others' people's existences will serve you no purpose. Best of luck with everything. Now again, what? Okay. So I'm a bigot because I don't like bigots, and that makes me bigoted. And I objectified other people's existence. I don't even know what the fuck this guy's talking about. So anyway, so this is a theme here. Now this is a novel. I can't even fit this whole fucking thing on screen. This is a novel. This motherfucker released a fucking an excerpt from his book. Okay. Lucas Cunningham writes, to some incels, but more importantly to the many disenfranchised young men out there failing to find meaning, love, encouragement, confidence, ... Jordan Peterson is the sun that warms their hearts, often to the point where they discard their waterproof layer of toxic masculinity and stop hiding from the rain cloud of failure that has been looming over them their whole life. After years of the left trying to eradicate toxic masculinity with public shaming, cancel culture, and innocent until proven guilty. Like, okay, first of all, trying to eradicate toxic masculinity, isn't that a good thing? Don't we want to eradicate toxic masculinity? If your argument is that men should be allowed to cry, shouldn't the left wanting men being allowed to cry and to eradicate toxic masculinity be a good thing? Second of all, innocent until proven guilty is a bad thing now? Personally, I love innocent until proven guilty. Now, I assume that they probably meant it the other way around, but they didn't proofread their shit. Also, what the fuck is cancel culture? Like, seriously, what is that? Like strong gusts of wind from an angry storm, it was never to be as effective as Jordan Peterson's encouraging word. Now, again, my question to these people is, do you or do you not accept that Jordan Peterson hates transgender people? If you're going out there and saying he secretly loves transgender people, he just expresses it in the wrong way or whatever, I'm curious as to why you say that. The only reason why you would make an excuse for his bigotry is if you think bigotry is wrong and you worship Jordan Peterson and you don't want him to be a bigot. My personal opinion, worship Jordan Peterson. Just be honest that he's not great on everything. It's not that hard. Yes, he hates transgender people. He has literally made his career. He has literally made his career based on the fact that he hates transgender people. He rose to prominence lying about a bill in Canada that would have compelled speech or whatever. Didn't fucking work that way. He just made it up just as a way to attack transgender people, okay? Literally a couple months ago, he was talking about how a transgender actor got a criminal surgery and is inspiring a bunch of kids to kill themselves or some shit. It is factually true that he hates transgender people. Now, unless he secretly loves them and he's I don't know, it's a tough love. I don't even know what the fuck. But anyway, how can you respect this guy if he hates transgender people? How can you say that helping the marginalized is good when he helps incels, but then also agree with him hating transgender people? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, okay? I'm sorry. And again, what the fuck is this comment? Okay. Jordan Peterson is a man who's apparently too emotional. Yes, too emotional. In a world where men are lambasted for their flaws and criticized for not being emotional enough. Now again, him crying is not the fucking problem. Him crying is not the fucking problem. The problem is that he's crying about something so fucking stupid that it makes you want to fucking blow your brains out. That's the fucking problem. Okay? If someone starts crying, right, because, okay, let's say this much. Okay, let's say someone, let's say a kid comes out as trans. They're 15, 16 years old, they come out as trans. They talk to their parents, and their parents start crying. Now, if they're crying because, oh, my son is dead, I've got a queer kid, guess what? I'm going to make fun of them for crying because they're fucking stupid. Now, if they're crying because, oh, I didn't know that, I want to help you, I want to make sure your life is great, I love you, my child, that's a good thing. That's good to cry. The reason why someone is crying is more important than the fact that they're crying. In the video, literally, if you watch the video, which apparently this guy wrote a novel and didn't even watch the video. But if you watch the video, you will see I stipulate this. So imagine watching 30 seconds of a video and then posting a fucking excerpt from your fan fiction that doesn't even apply to, what the fuck, man? I'm serious. These people are crazy. These people are fucking insane. I don't know what to tell you, okay? As someone who seems genuinely intelligent, I do hope you take some time to reflect on the hypocrisy of attacking the leader of a group you dislike, while that leader is one not even a part of that group. 2. Doing all that it is in its power to set a good example and offer people an alternative to that group by instead facing life's challenges and voluntarily taking up responsibility as individuals, members of their family and community. Now again, if that's what Jordan Peterson was doing, I'm all in. I'm all in, but that's not what he's doing. That's not what he does. He is not a speaker for the marginalized. I'm sorry, he's not. He's not. He doesn't give a fuck about lonely virgins. He doesn't give a fuck about incels. He manipulates them to believe crazy conspiracy theories about women and minorities. Read his fucking books. Read his fucking books. He will talk about random ass shit. About how, like, women shouldn't be allowed to be in workplaces because men will be distracted by their beauty. He literally has gone on podcasts to talk about how women should be, like hot women specifically, should be banned from working with men. Now, if you're ugly, you can work with men. That's no problem. Who makes those decisions? Who makes the decision if someone is hot or ugly? Who knows, right? But he literally went on a long-ass cringe tour about how hot women should not be allowed in the workforce because men are so easily distracted. So, again, spare me with this fucking bullshit about him speaking up for the marginalized. My God. Anyway, this novel continues. I'm going to read it because it's hilarious. And I haven't read these before. I just selected the long ones, so I wanted to read them live on stream. Doing all that is in his power to reach out to those who are despicable incels and offering them the choice to reform themselves, giving them encouragement that they need, that they are a net force for good if they want to be. Like, what does that even mean? Doing all that is in his power to reach out to those? He's not doing all that is in his power. If he was doing all that was in his power, he would be doing literally anything. All he does is say, hey, incels, buy my book. By the way, hot women are a plague on society. That's literally all he says. Like, I don't even know, like, what the fuck. You don't have to like someone to wish what's best for them. We were all children once. Everything is learned. Some people need to experience empathy before they can understand why it's so important to give it to others. Don't hate on the man who provides the answer to the problem. What is the answer? If he provided an answer to the problem, then I would know what the answer is, having done this segment, having covered Jordan Peterson. I would know what the answer is. He hasn't provided any answer. If he provided an answer to the problem, there would be no incels. He hasn't provided any answer. He's just making the problem worse. Like, what the fuck are these people talking about? Like, again, these people, this is mental illness in its purest form. You lack compassion, and you are misrepresenting his arguments to a degree that suggests you haven't actually heard or read them firsthand. Now, again, I've literally made videos where I respond to him in detail when he goes on, like, these 30-minute short films that he writes about how Twitter bans him or whatever. Like, I don't know, like this shit is so fucking verifiably not true that it's just hilarious to me. Sounds like you were just going off of what others have said. In any case, I hope you find what you need to be a happier and more fulfilled person. Not sure if creating this kind of content will be the route, but you never know. Like, again, this feigned, like, you know, like, this bullshit where they pretend that they're supportive of you. Like, I mean, again, man, this fucking shit is insane. Like, Jordan Peterson, he literally has a job at the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire, a right-wing media conglomerate corporation that's, like, major production recently has been attacking transgender people. And again, one of their main contributors, Matt Walsh, Jordan Peterson's co-worker, most prominent co-worker, is leading terroristic bomb threat campaigns on children's hospitals. That's Jordan Peterson. He signed up for that. So, now again, there's a part 2 here. Now, again, I filtered out all the comments calling me a tranny. If you go look on the original video and look at the comment section, half the Jordan Peterson fanboys are like, tranny, 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 you're a man, tranny, tranny. Right, so again, I just love the duality, the two genders of the Jordan Peterson fan base. The person who pretends to be a hyper pseudo-intellectual and the person who's just a raging bigot. That's the audience. So anyway, I filtered those out. What a terribly sad and disappointing take on Peterson's crying. He didn't cry because of Olivia Wilde's commentary. He cried when considering those who suffer for a lack of encouraging word. Whatever. So, did Jordan Peterson cry after he said that transgender people are groomers? Did he cry because of transgender people not having an encouraging word? Did he cry for them? No. He hopped in and joined the bigoted hate campaigns against transgender people. So, again, I don't know how to explain to these people. These people are fucking brain dead. All right. It is kind of sad that media narrative can push people apart just by seeking controversy where there is none or little. Mocking someone for showing emotion helps nobody. Well, maybe yourself, to feel better than a celebrity. First of all, again, nowhere in the video did I mock him for showing emotion. And I specifically stated, I'm not making fun of him for crying. I'm making fun of him for why he's crying. You said there should be some guidance for incels to help them sort out their life. This guy actually tries to provide such advice, and never once I heard him say that the world women are conspiring against you. Again, just because you haven't heard it doesn't mean it's not true. You can look it up. Just look up Jordan Peterson, lobster, women. Look it up. Look up Jordan Peterson, transgender actor. Just look up these search terms and you will find what we're talking about. Now, again, if you want to say that that's not an important part and you want to focus on the good parts of his message, okay. But we have to have an honest fucking conversation about what this guy is. The idea that you're going to defend his bigotry or pretend it doesn't exist, I'm sorry, cry me a fucking river, you stupid ass bitch. Or clean your room and get laid. It was always in the lines of make yourself valuable member of society and people will value you more and life is hard. Deal with it. Never once have I heard him attack any transgender person. I'm sorry, man. Okay, let me get this straight. So this guy is so obsessed with Jordan Peterson that they have a Google alert system or some way to find out. I uploaded this video 2 days ago. It's got 600 views, okay? They name search Jordan Peterson so much that they can find some random no-name bitch making a YouTube video about him, but they've never heard of his transphobic or anti-women remarks. They just skip that whole part. They never heard of it. They watch every single video that people make about Jordan Peterson. They just haven't heard the most high-profile stuff. What? 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 I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Okay. Sure, there is plenty for which we could criticize him, but it should be based on the things he had actually said or done. Now, again, this is the thing. They claim to be these pseudo-intellectuals, right? It is okay to criticize Jordan Peterson, but he's never said these things that he's documented saying multiple times for years and years. What the fuck, man? On an unrelated note, I have to search if there's any link between begging for lunch money and affiliation to communism. What? I don't even know what the fuck that means. Okay. Well, if leftists with an apostrophe, why is there an apostrophe there? I don't know. Are calling him the voice of incels, and he is saying he thought they should have a voice, then I guess they are equally full of shit, ? Quadruple space. And what is this shit about making fun of him for crying? Never did that. We, men, just can't catch a break when it comes to this. Either we aren't sensitive enough, or we are too sensitive. Or it's okay to cry, or it's not okay to cry. Give us a fucking break. Now again, the reason why someone cries is important. Right? Again, let's say this. Let's say I've got my mother's ashes in an urn, and there's an earthquake, and it causes the urn to fall on the hardwood floor, and it cracks all over the place. The ashes are all over the house. If I started crying, man, woman, whatever the fuck, that's fine. All right, cry. That's a fucked up thing to go through. Now, again, you know what's not okay to cry at? Let's say you're going to McDonald's and you have to pull up. You know, when they say, like, all right, your order is going to take a little bit longer. Can you pull up a little bit? And you pull up and then you start crying in the car because your order is taking 3 minutes longer than you thought it would. I would make fun of you for crying. It's not, the crying is not the fucking issue here. And I explained this in the video. That's the thing that's crazy about this, is I explained that in the video. But I guess these people are just so fucking stupid they can't understand that kind of shit. You don't know who and what you're talking about? First of all, I don't even know where to begin with this fucking shit. Your content is ignorant, bordering on poison, like, do more research. Please, the whole thing is very cringy. So anyway, this is just a couple of comments here. There's a bunch more. You can go look at the video. But again, nowhere in this video did I make fun of him for being a man who cries. That never happened. I've never said that. I never would say that. Right? And it's a long video. It's 16 minutes. You think these motherfuckers watched all 16 minutes of the video before posting an excerpt from their fucking novelization of their fucking, like, no, obviously not, right? They're just like basing it off of their weird echo chamber beliefs, right? So anyway, I had to make a follow-up to this one because really it is hilarious ass fucking shit. Hilarious ass fucking shit. And I will say this much. I don't have compassion for bigots. If Jordan Peterson came out tomorrow or today, let's say it comes out like, in a couple minutes after the show is over and said, you know what? I did some introspection. I thought about it, and the things that I've said about women are honestly disgusting. The things I've said about transgender people, like Elliot Page, they're disgusting. I was in an echo chamber. I was being paid to say these things, and and I really, I realized how dangerous the harm I was. If he came out and did that, I'm in. I'm all in for the redemption tour. Now, he's not going to do that, obviously, right? But if he did that, I'm all in. Until that happens, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Oh, poor baby. He's crying. Oh, poor baby. You know who else is crying? Someone who just got diagnosed with, like, some illness, right, that's going to result in them having a stillborn fetus, but they're not allowed to get an abortion because Republicans have outlawed that shit, which, by the way, Jordan Peterson is in favor of pro-life legislation, quote-unquote pro-life, right? And they're crying because the only options for them are, do a GoFundMe to raise fucking $5,000 to $10,000 to travel to another state to get medical care, right? That's who I care about. If I have compassion, that's who I'm lending it toward. I'm not lending it towards to some rich celebrity who spends his fucking time online attacking minorities all day. I don't give a fuck. In fact, not only to that, I do give a fuck. I lied. I do give a fuck. I hope he's unhappy. I hope he's crying. When I heard about Jordan Peterson having a benzo addiction, and when he disappeared from the internet for 2-3 years, however long it was, that was the best thing he's ever done. The best thing Jordan Peterson ever did was get addicted to benzos and get the fuck out of the public sphere for however long it was. That was his best fucking decision. So you know what? Cry me a fucking river. Go fuck yourself with that crybaby fucking bullshit, okay? Go take a fucking Xanax and shut the fuck up. That's my opinion on the Jordan Peterson fucking fanboys. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, someone had a benzo addiction, so it makes their anti-fucking trans bigotry acceptable. Go fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck yourself. Fuck yourself, motherfucker. Who gets addicted to benzos anyway? So, I don't want to be too rude here, but I don't know, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, he's sad. Oh, he's sad. Saul, like, I know you love being, like, the contrarian here, but hopping on to defend the fucking transphobic bigot who is responsible, like, if you were to take, like, a top 10 list of people online that have, like, pretty much single-handedly, like, led a crusade against people like me that has resulted in people like me fucking dying, Jordan Peterson would be on that fucking list. He popularized hatred of transgender people and brought it to the mainstream. Like in 2012, right, like people didn't really, like, people hated transgender people, but it wasn't really a hot button issue. Jordan Peterson pretty much single-handedly brought transgender bigotry and hatred to the mainstream. Okay? So, I mean, I'm sorry, but crime... Oh, he's sad. Shut the fuck up. You know who else is sad? Kids that are having their families investigated because they told someone at the lunch table that they think they're trans, and then a teacher overheard them and called Child Protective Service. You know what? That's who I fucking care about. Not Jordan fucking Peterson. Cry me a fucking river, man. Jesus fucking Christ. So, oh my God. Come on. Like, I know you love being a contrarian. I know you love being a boomer. But come the fuck on, man. This is some Ben Burgess tier fucking, because Ben Burgess had the same opinion. Ben Burgess was like when fucking goddamn Jordan Peterson got thrown in for the benzo addiction, Ben Burgess was like, we could say or criticize him for so many things, but him being an addict is not okay. It's just sad, and I feel sad for him. Literally, that's what Ben Burgess said. Instead of criticizing Jordan Peterson, he would tell people, well, he's a damaged soul, so we shouldn't be... So, I mean, I'm sorry, man, but Jesus fucking Christ, give me a fucking break with that garbage. All the rich and powerful are crying. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if someone who's rich and powerful is crying. Now, again, let's imagine another instance where I would give a fuck if someone who's rich cries. Let's say someone who's a child actor, right? Their parents force them to be a child actor. They don't really like it. They become rich and famous because they're a child actor. They're 20 years old. They hate being famous. They don't like being famous. They never asked to be famous. They didn't consent to this, right? But they're still rich and famous. And let's say they're depressed and they might want to kill themselves, or they do kill themselves. There's lots of incidents of this happening. That's tragic. That's fucked up. Okay? Jordan Peterson was like fucking 50 years old when he decided to enter mainstream political discourse to attack minorities, okay? So I'm sorry, man. This guy laid his own groundwork. Fuck him and fuck anyone who defends him even for a fucking second here, man. Holy fucking shit, man. It's embarrassing. Anyway. So that's the show. I have a movie review coming up shortly. Spook 6UR movie review. And it's going to be great. I don't even know. Is it a horror movie? I don't even know. Anyway, I will be doing an approximately 6-hour Twitch stream tonight. Could be 5, could be 7. I'm meeting in the middle and saying 6, so it could be 5 hours. Could be 7 hours. Could be 6. I don't know. So follow me on twitch.tv. It's going to be a banger stream. You're going to wish you were there. You are going to wish you were there. You want to talk about Jordan Peterson crying? We can do it on the Twitch stream. You want to talk about whatever the fuck you want? Open-ended Q cock. That's right. You got Qs, and I know you got cocks. Save them. Put them in a text document. Write them on your hand. Save them for the Twitch stream. I'm planning on going live around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time. Maybe 4:30, in that range. I don't know. I gotta, I want to eat. I want to, do some stuff first. I gotta edit these clips and all that. But, gotta do some things before that. But, again, so show up. It's going to be great. I'm going to be playing a game that was released 22 years ago today. 22 years ago today. This game is 22 years old. Released in 2000, and it's going to be great. So it's, if you can guess what it is, figure that out. What games were released today? Figure it out. And what game is 5, 6 hours, 7 hours? Who knows? Anyway. So, there you go. But until then, let's get into the Spook 6UR movie segment. Now, I don't know. Is this a horror movie? Maybe. It was in the horror section on Netflix. Piranha 3D. Never heard of it. Apparently this is a remake. Never heard of it. Never heard of the original. Never heard of this before. I was scrolling through the horror section, trying to find something never heard of, and this is what I found. Piranha 3D. I guess it's a monster movie. Monster movie. Subgenre of the horror. Subgenre of slasher, really. So you got slasher films, right? And then you got monster movies, which are basically kind of like slasher movies, but instead of like a humanoid or a human slasher, it's a monster. And so this was Piranha 3D 2010. And so, okay, this movie, first of all, I don't even know what to say about this movie, right? like, the first half of it is like, it's just softcore pornography, right? Like, the first half of it is like, okay, so the main character is a 17-year-old that gets involved with shooting softcore pornography. And then they go on a boat on a lake to film softcore pornography. And there is a lot of softcore pornography in this movie. Now, again, my opinion, as someone who is attracted to the male body, what's with all these fucking movies with having ass and titties all over the place? Right? Now, again, I will say this movie does get credit. There is visible cock. But it's amputated cock that's floating through the lake, and a piranha eats the amputated cock. So, you know, I'm just saying, there needs to be more naked men in the horror genre. That's what I have to say. I just have to say that, you know, again, we get it. You know, men like tits. I understand. You know, they're okay. I'm a tit fan. You know, they're all right. But to me, it's just like, when half the movie is based on titties, you know, come on now. So anyway, the first half of the movie is basically just softcore pornography. That's it. A 17-year-old, it becomes involved with a softcore pornography set. You know, that's weird. Why would they write him to be 17 instead of like 18? I don't know. That's fucking strange. But anyway, okay. So then there's fucking piranhas. Right? And the piranhas are like, they come out of like, there's an earthquake, and they came out of like some subterranean trench or something. So tectonic plates moved and released some ancient ass piranhas. Anyway, so then the piranhas, one of them like kills a bunch of like police guys or whatever. Like 2 of them divers get killed. They bring one of the piranhas back, and then like Doc Brown from Back to the Future has an appearance in this movie, and he's like, oh god, look at the piranha, and that's fucking crazy. Right, that was fun. That's the best part of this movie, was Christopher Lloyd just having like, he had like 2 scenes, I think, actually, and he had like a couple lines of dialogue. That's the best part of the movie, right? Now also, there's another really good part of this movie where there's some bitch who's like, you know, taking her top off on like a hand glider, you know, in like a jet ski hand glider situation, right? She dips into the water, and piranhas like eat her legs, right? And her legs are just like gone. And then she comes out of the water, her tits are still hanging out, and everyone's like, oh, look, titties. And then her like fucking dripping, bloodied, like lower like body is like, and that was a great scene. I love that scene. And so anyway, I love the scene where they're at the beach party and the piranhas are just fucking people up. They killed like there's like one scene in this movie where piranhas killed like fucking 30 guys, 40 guys, like all like fucking spring breakers or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Like piranhas just murdered like fucking 50 motherfuckers. Like, I'm not even joking. That scene was brutal. And then you had like the one guy, the one cop like take off like the fucking engine from a boat and then like try to chop up the piranhas. That was some crazy shit. That was a good scene. Right, but this movie, I mean, it's a monster movie. It's like, the acting is like a 1 out of 10. It's really bad. Right, half of it is basically just softcore pornography. Like, I could see someone like actually being able to successfully like climax with masturbation in the first half of this movie. It's just nonstop tits and ass. Now, again, if that's what you're into, all right, that's great. You know, I like tits, I like ass, you know, but to me, I mean, I'm trying to watch a monster movie. I'm trying to see some motherfuckers die, but half the movie is softcore pornography. Now, again, that's not my thing, unless there are some naked men involved. You know, if you made it a little bit more neutral or equality, that's what I'm saying. You know, if we had some of that, maybe I'd be a little bit more in. But either way, and then at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, these are all baby piranhas, and then like a big one jumps out. I guess there's a sequel. I don't know. But anyway, is this a horror movie? I don't know. It was in the horror section. Is it a horror movie? I'm not sure. It's a monster movie, maybe. But there you go. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I don't want to be too critical. I know a lot of people out there, they love ass and titties. I'm aware of that. But to me, you know, I don't mind it. You know, I enjoy it. I'll be honest. But like sometimes, you know, a movie is just a little bit too much. You know what I mean? A little bit too much. And that's my opinion on this one. But I do like the scene where the piranhas bit the porn guy's dick off, and then like they showed like the CGI dick floating through the lake. That was cool. Not because of the dick. I wasn't turned on by it. I just thought it was funny. The other thing about this movie that's really funny, is the CG is so terrible. Like, the CG is really bad. It's like the so bad it's good territory, where like every time the CG is visible, it just is hilarious. It's fucking hilarious ass shit. I thought the CG in this movie, like the piranhas and the way they move around, is so bad. Holy fuck. But anyway, apparently this movie is 3D. Obviously, I don't have a 3D television or anything, so I didn't watch the 3D component. But there were like a lot of scenes where like the tits were coming into your eyeballs, so I could see why that would be pleasurable for some of the audience. But anyway, there you go. You know, if you like softcore pornography, watch the first half of Piranha 3D. If you don't like softcore pornography, probably avoid the whole movie. Personally, you know, I enjoy softcore pornography once in a while, you know. I don't know why they made a 17-year-old get involved with the porn actors. That was a little weird, you know. I don't know what's going on there. But either way, it's a movie. It's a monster movie. Is it horror? Maybe. It's a monster movie. But really, the most horrifying aspect of this film is just really how much of it is softcore pornography. So, but anyway, there you go. That's Piranha 3D. Needless to say, could have been a little bit better. Could have been a little bit better. Sprinkle in a little bit of you know, male strippers. Throw those in there. Maybe, you know, bring back the mass death scenes, like 15, 20 minutes. Maybe bring those back a little bit. Cut out some of the ass and titties. Now, again, no criticism. If you love ass, if you love titties, that's great. You know, but sometimes, you know, anyway. But it was really funny. It was a really funny movie, so very cheesy. So there you go. Spook-sixular movie film review. And there you go. So, once again, I will be doing a twitch.tv stream. It'll be a long one. It'll be a long one. So, tune in. Get your questions, comments, or concerns. Write them on your hand. And memorize that shit for later. So, my plan for today is to get high and finish some side projects that I've got for the day. Pet my dog. Where's my dog? Max. 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 Where the hell is this dog? Oh, here he is. Folks, Max the goddamn dog. Where are you? He's under the goddamn desk. Max, they want to see you. Max, they want to see you. Maxie, they want to see you. It looks like I just have a ghost dog. Here we go. So, there you go. DD, congestive heart failure 10. Thanks. Great show. Thank you for that. I don't know what congestive heart failure equates to in US dollars, but that's great. But yeah, so anyway, thank you all for watching. Great ep, little weird at times, but still great. I know I got canceled earlier for making fun of the soccer rioters. Reelon was extremely offended. Little fucking snowflake bitch. Little fucking snowflake bitch. I should criticize the viewers who didn't show up to yesterday's Twitch stream. I should. You didn't show up to Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase? Go fuck yourself. So there you go. And also a double for Reelon for being a little whiny snowflake. Oh no, the streamer said that 9/11 was a good thing. I'm so sad. Get over it. Sounds good, Environmental Coffee House. I gotta get a greenhouse. That sounds fun. Sinkwell did show up literally in the closing cutscene. Like the last 2 minutes of the stream, Sinkwell was like, "Hi, I'm here," which counts. You were there. But anyway, that's the show. Goodbye.
Go. But I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Can you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp,